These are my worst methods for studying from a UK doctor who learnt the hard way, because we want to stop looking like this and we want to be getting more and more of these. So the first one is passive rereading and rewriting. Simply copying out your notes or flipping through textbooks over and over isn't going to retain any information because your brain isn't actively working to take in this content. Instead, you should be actively testing yourself by using flashcards, practice tests, other means of active recall. And a website I've been loving to do this is Studyfetch. So Studyfetch has numerous resources for studying, such as flashcards, practice tests, arcade games. And this way you know that you're actively taking in the information, retaining the information and learning it, instead of just reading over and over and over and not taking in any of the information. Next up, we have ignoring weaker areas. So it can be really tempting to only study stuff that you're confident on or that you already know, because this feels good and you feel like you're getting high reward for doing little effort. But this is not beneficial because this actually leads to poor exam performance in the areas that you're struggling with. Instead, try to challenge yourself and spend more time focusing on the weaker areas. That way your exam performance will be more stable overall, rather than doing really well in the stuff that you know and not so well in the stuff that you haven't revised because you find it difficult. And next up, we have study marathons and all-nighters. Now, I know this is so tempting to study for hours on end or to stay up all night cramming information, but this is not a beneficial use of your time. Studying for hours on end, your brain just gets super tired and then your level of retention actually drops. And all-nighters just leads to exhaustion, poor concentration, and then higher stress levels. And both of these combinations together are really, really detrimental for your studying. You're not going to take in any information, you're not going to retain information, and you're also not going to be learning anything. So you might think spending hours studying is really beneficial, but it's such a poor use of your time. That leads on to multitasking. I know how easy it is to study at the same time as having TV on in the background or going on your phone or having other conversations with your friends. But this actually leads to poor levels of attention, distractions, poor retention, and it actually makes your study sessions longer because you're having to focus harder, spend more time to take information in. Whereas if you just spend some time focusing on one thing with no distractions, you are way more likely to take the information in. And then last up, we have highlighting everything. This used to be me, and let me tell you, it is not the way to go. So drowning your notes in neon colours can just take the focus away from the actual important points. I know it looks pretty, and I know that when you're reading through things, it might seem like everything on that page is important, but this is not going to help you in any sense. Not only is it time consuming, but it just doesn't provide good outcomes because you're focusing on all the wrong things. It can be beneficial though if you're selectively highlighting things and then actively studying those, like the resources we talked about before. So if you use a website like Studyfetch, you can highlight the bits that are important and then input these notes into Studyfetch and generate flashcards and practice tests and make sure that you're actually using active recall rather than passively reading this information. So that pretty much sums it up, but stay tuned for my best methods of studying video, which will be up soon.